Things before we get started. Like Pastor Pam, I have a color, it's red. But if you look, my toes is purple, okay? I did my purple. Got my Empowerment Network thing going. So anyway, how are you all doing today?
Great.
Awesome. Let me ask a question because I want to make sure that I'm in the right room.
We're not
Okay.
hearing the mic.
Is there anybody in here that has a dream? Woo! Is there anybody in here that's had that dream for a long time? Is there anybody in here that sometimes you think, yeah, maybe I need to give me a new dream, or maybe this dream is starting to look like a nightmare? You know? Am I talking to the right group?
Yes.
Okay, well, I am so glad you came here today. I too had a dream. I have a dream that, well, not that dream, but I had a dream, and you had a dream. You have a dream. And sometimes as we're going along, like the questions that I ask, it's like, what I saw when I had this dream and what I see when I look with my natural eyes is two different things. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I didn't have the right dream, or maybe I need to just quit altogether. So I came here to tell you, now is not the time to give up on your dream. Now is the time to fight. And so you probably say, Adrian, I've been fighting. I've been fighting a long time. I've been fighting a real long time. I've been fighting before you came to Orlando, because I'm from Virginia. And I'm kind of tired of fighting, you know. I'm a musician. And I thought, you know, I'm in the arts, I write songs, and I can sing. And I thought I would be in that exclusive Gotti club by now. You know, I'd have my Grammy, my Oscar, my Tony Award, and my Emmy all sitting up, you know, so when you walk in my house, you would have to pass my gallery, and it's not there. Or maybe you say, I'm an athlete. Surely I would have Olympic gold by now. At least 2 gold medals, maybe a silver, you know, just so some other people could win sometime. But, I'm an entrepreneur. And I thought I would have that Fortune 500 company now. And when I look at it, I'm thinking, I hope I can stay in business past next month. Sometimes it just doesn't seem like it's working, but yet you know that this is what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? You even have social proof of what your vision is. There are people who come and they say, Sister, can you do this for me? Brother, can you do this for me? Brother Alvin, can you sing a song for me? But yet, you don't have enough people doing that often enough that you feel like you can sustain it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you 5 things today that you can do to keep you fighting for your dream. And we made it easy. We've got the acronym FIGHT. All you have to do is remember FIGHT. So if you're taking notes, go down your paper and spell FIGHT. F-I-G-H-T. Okay? The first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to face it. And you have to face it critically. Okay? You can't change anything if you won't turn around and look at it dead in the eye and say, you know what? This just ain't working. And you don't even have to say, I just don't believe that this is working right now. This just ain't working. You have to look at it, and you have to look at it critically. Take all the emotion out of it. All of it. You know, I know when you got this vision, there was a bright light, birds were singing, and a soft, cool breeze blowed across your face. And so you knew that you knew that you knew. But now you need to look at it critically. What isn't working? So you have to face it and figure out why it's just not working. And I had to do that with my own business. We launched Hunt's Business Solutions back in 2009. And I knew that it would work because I spent all of my time doing what I do right now. What do? I'm so glad you asked. What we do at Hunt's Business Solutions is we teach, coach, and empower entrepreneurs to become more strategic in their thinking. We help them get unstuck so that they can start to achieve their goals and change their family and their community. That's what we do. And I knew it would work because people kept asking me, Adrienne, how do I do this? Adrienne, how do I do that? When I'm doing my business, I knew it would work. So I had to stop and figure out why it wasn't working. Most of the time, if something's not working, you can trace it to one of four things. One, it just might not be your season. Come on. And that's okay. It may not be your season, however, success happens when opportunity meets preparation. So while you're waiting on your opportunity, you have to keep preparing. There are still things that you can do so that when you hit your season, I mean, if Pam had waited until somebody came to her and said, we're going to let you have a show on Bright House, if she waited till then to start getting ready, then she wouldn't have been ready. But because she's been preparing all these years, and you know, with her boxing gloves and doing this event and that event and speaking here and speaking there, when the opportunity presented itself, she was more than ready. And she just walked right through that open door and kicked it down, and she is doing her thing. And we're here today because she was willing to prepare until her opportunity came up. And now she's taking that information and sharing it with us today. Am I right about it?
Yes.
All right. So you still have to make preparation. So we were still doing that. Another reason that it may not work is it could be something you're doing. And it is what it is. There are people, believe it or not, who will actually self-sabotage their own success. It's like you start to get there and you start to feel it, and then you just like, ooh, no. And then you do something. And I've seen it over and over again. I have seen people get right on the edge of success and then start doing things that take them backwards. So you may have to look at some things that you're doing. It could be something you're not doing. And since you don't know what you don't know, you may not know what it is that you need to be doing. But it could be something that you're not doing. So it may not be your season. It may be something you're doing. It may be something you're not doing. Or it may be somebody you're rolling with.
Come on, say it.
And I just tell it like it T.I. is, as my mama said. It could be somebody that you're rolling with, okay? And we spend so much time thinking about what our haters think, what our haters say. Can I get you today to forget your haters?
Yes.
Okay? You're giving them too much energy, okay? Just, if you decide that somebody that's in your life is a hater, just sneeze, say I'm allergic to that, take 2 steps back, pivot, and go the other direction, okay? But sometimes, our pastor says a lot, you cannot share your 8 by 10 dream with a 3 by 5 thinker.
Oh.
Sometimes you just can't tell it to everybody, okay? Sometimes, I mean, now this is how you tell if the person that you're rolling with is somebody that you don't need to keep rolling with to achieve your dream. Can I do this demonstration for you? Okay, here you go. When this sister come tell me she just got this big contract selling her natural home remedies and stuff, which she got Oprah on it, and I'm like, praise the Lord, sister. I'm so happy for you.
Right.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. She is not in your corner. Sneeze, take 2 steps back, and pivot. Okay? It's somebody that you're rolling with. Okay? For us, we took a critical look at our business, and you would be surprised at what we found was the problem. It was time. For us, it was time. I had a very, it was a demanding job because we were in a growing ministry. And when you are working in a growing ministry, it's growing, so you're doing other things, and you're doing new things, and you're implementing things. On top of that, I was very active at the church. I had one person that told me they actually thought I slept there. I'm like, no, I do actually have a home, and I go to it. And then I had a lot of other activities that I like to do. So I had a very full life. But the problem was, a lot of that fullness kept me from moving my vision forward. So what I did was, I did something very practical, and that's step 2. You got to identify a strategy, because now I know what it is. I know that my problem, the thing I had to face, was time. I mean, I literally never had time to do more than treat my business as a hobby. Now, hobbies are wonderful. I know very few people that can pay their mortgage with their hobby. If you can pay your mortgage with your hobby, it's not a hobby, it's a business. So what I had to do was, we needed to free up some time, okay? And that was the big part of our strategy. We did 2 things. First of all, we decided that in 5 years, I needed to be full-time. I needed to be able to retire from my day job so I could focus all of my energy on the business. So guess what I had to do? I stopped shopping. I didn't get a new purse. I didn't get new shoes. I wore open. We didn't go out. Well, sometimes we went out because, you know, we still had a demanding job. But, I mean, my husband would be like, it wasn't like going to Christini's that I love. It was like, yo, babe, we need to stop and get something to eat. And this place right here has a special where you can get 2 entrees for $20 with a drink and a dessert. We're going to eat there. Okay? And don't think you're going to get an appetizer unless it was included in that $20 special. Now, if dessert was included, then, you know, you got the dessert and 2 spoons or something like that. We made some sacrifices, and we saved and saved and saved and saved and saved. And people would go, and I would live vicariously through other people's Facebook pages. You know, I'm like, oh, yeah, Marilyn just went on vacation to Aruba. Oh, that's beautiful. Yay, because I knew I wasn't going anywhere, because I was working on something, and I was willing to make a sacrifice. That was a big part of my strategy. I needed to be able to retire and have enough reserves behind me so that, you know how businesses go feast and famine? I needed to be able to do a good stretch of famine so that I could ramp up to feast, okay? And so we planned for it. The other thing we did was I took all of my activities and I put them in priority order. And the priority order was me and my husband's priority order, not other people's priority order. Because when other people want you to do things for them, they think that that's a priority, okay? And what I started doing was cutting activities from the bottom. And I just cut and cut and cut and cut until I felt like I had brought my life back into balance. And I'm like, okay, now I can do something. Now I have enough time to build. Now I have enough time to write the programs that I need to write. Now I have the time to nurture the connects that are coming to me because I have freed up some time. Now, something that I learned from my husband. He is a master at it. If you have to take control of your time to move your business forward, you need to learn a 2-letter word. You know what it is? No.
Yes.
Period. No. No explanation. Men do this. We don't, okay? When you already have 5 things on your plate, and then somebody comes and asks you to bake cupcakes for the bake sale or whatever, we'll say, well, no, I can't do that because I got to do this, and I got to take little Johnny over there, and then, you know, Maya has gymnastics and whatever. Well, you know what? If I do it between like 11:30 and midnight, just say no, because you don't want to do it anyway, okay? What you need to do anytime you get an activity that's, you know, that's going to add something else to your life, you need to look at it. Is this going to take me closer to my goal or bring me away from it? If it's going to take you closer, consider it. We'll talk about that again, so stick a pin in it. If it's not, just say no. Isn't that what they told us to do when we were kids? Just say no to drugs. Just say no to stuff that's going to move you past your vision, okay? So that's F, and that's I. You've got your strategy. G, get help. The number one mistake that I see entrepreneurs make is they don't get help. My husband told me something one time that blew my mind. He was like, you know, you ain't perfect and you don't know it all. I was like, what? One, I'm not perfect, and 2, I don't know it all. Are you kidding me right now? Okay? You cannot do it all. That's why any decent business coach is going to tell you, and even Pastor Pam is going to tell you, you need a round table. That's what part of this group is. You need somebody that can help you with your marketing. You need somebody that can help you with your graphics and all of that. I I spent a lot of time trying to take a background off of a picture because I needed it for a presentation. It took me hours, okay? And then finally, I sent it to my graphic designer who did it in minutes. So if I add up what I charge an hour by how much time, it was cheaper. It was cheaper to just go with the graphics person up front. So the time that you spend trying to figuring out how to do something so that you can accomplish your dream, you may need to only do those activities that are in your core business and outsource everything else. It'll be all right, I promise you. It's going to save you some frustration. Now, H, handle your setbacks. And there are plenty. You know, Pastor Pam Powell's trying to build and do some things and have this big business going, and then she got hit with breast cancer. Life is not linear and nothing is perfect. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a second and I'm going to show you what I went through while I was trying to get my business built.
All right.
Sometimes bad things happen to good people. We lost his mother. He got diagnosed with cancer. Government played crazy and did a furlough. Then they shut down. And then I lost my dad. And then that brought on some more changes. And then we thought we were going to exhale again. And when you know it, Rob had to go do that chemo thing all over again. You're either going into a storm, you're in a storm, or you're coming out of a storm. And if I'm going to win in this situation, I'm going to have to fight.
To face your situation. To identify and then implement a strategy. Get help. Handle your setbacks. Trust God.
And, when I get to heaven, I'm going to say, Lord, I know you can trust some people with trouble. I didn't realize I was so trustworthy.
For the 5 years that we were working our plan for me to go full-time, this was 3 years of it. Oh, let me stop this. I didn't realize it would stop. This was 3 of those 5 years. But guess what? We had to keep going, okay? Life is not linear. Stuff happens. But if it's your dream, if it's something that's down inside of you, you're going to have to handle setbacks. There are going to be times when you feel like you're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps backwards, but at least you're moving, okay? And then the last thing you're going to have to do is trust your instincts, okay? As you are going along, you're going to get, and especially as you're getting help, you're going to have to know that you know that you know that the path that you're walking on is which way you're supposed to go, okay? You have to be careful, even as you're getting advice and things from other people, is you have to make sure that you stay true to your authentic self. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to end up building the dream that other people think you should have and not what you want to have. True story. There was a young man that I knew in Germany. He was a preacher. He drank every Saturday. He'd be at the NCO club. And then on Sunday, he'd be in the pulpit. And you want to know why? He didn't want to be a preacher. But he had to be a preacher. because his great-grandfather was a preacher, and his grandfather was a preacher, and his daddy was a preacher, and his oldest brother was supposed to be a preacher, and he died. And the next brother was supposed to be a preacher, and he died. And after a few years, Dad came to him and said, well, now's your turn. And so he ended up, because he couldn't go with what his instinct was and build the life he wanted to, he ended up living the life that someone else wanted him to have, and he was miserable. There are going to be times when you need to fulfill your dream that everybody's going to be going right, but your instinct is going to tell you to go left. You got to go left. And you just got to trust that you know what direction you're supposed to be taking. And that's why a lot of times when we talk about fulfilling your dream, we talk about giving birth. You know, now ladies, you kind of know, and men, you're going to have to kind of imagine. But think about it. When you first got that dream, when you first found out you were pregnant, you know, for some it was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a baby. And for other people it's like, oh my God, I'm going to have a baby. It is what it is. And sometimes it's like that with your dream too. It's like, Lord, you want me to do that? Okay. So you had to face it, okay? I'm going to give birth to something. You had to identify a strategy to nurture that before the baby was born. You know, you had to get your vitamins and minerals and all that. You had to get help. You had to go to the doctor. You know, you had to see nurses, pharmacists, and all that. God knows you needed help in the delivery room. You know, I was like, I didn't need doctors, I didn't need midwives, I needed drugs. I'm like, give me some good drugs, okay? And then you have to handle your setbacks, because while I was pregnant, I promise you, anybody else in this room, you had a baby, you were pregnant 9 months. I was pregnant 1,000 months the first time, I promise you. That first kid, 1,000 months. It was miserable, you know, or maybe one of your setbacks is you have to go on bed rest because you have some kind of illness. So now the happiest season of your life, you spend on your, you know, flat on your back, laying in the bed. All kinds of things can happen. And then when it's actually time to give birth, giving birth is painful. You know, when my son over here on the camera, he was supposed to be born May the 8th. I went in labor April 16th. April 17th. Yeah, April 17th. I almost got it wrong. I called the hospital. And I told them I was in labor. And they said, well, you're not supposed to have a baby for 3 weeks. My instinct was telling me we were going to have a baby before midnight. And actually, I did go in labor on the 16th. I was right. Because he was born, had the nerve to be born at 2:08 in the morning. I mean, like, really? But my instinct said, you better go to the doctor. So while everybody else was going right, I had to shift and go left. And when I walked in, they were like, oh my God, you were right. Let's get you to bed before oh Lord, her water just broke. And now we were moving and the doctor wasn't here. So sometimes you may be ready for your situation and everybody else is not ready, but you still have to trust your instinct, okay? So face your situation head on. Look at it critically. Figure out why it's not working. Implement a strategy to correct that. Get help. It'll bless you. I'm going to tell you, you may spend a little money up front, but you'll appreciate it in the long run. Handle your setbacks and trust God and your instinct. If you do that, you will always be fighting for your dream. And then even though it may not show up right when you think it is, when you give birth to it, birthing is messy, it's painful. I mean, tell the truth, babies look a little crazy when they first come out. But if you clean them up and nurture them and do all of that and care for them, when you get to the end and it's able to sustain itself, it's going to be a beautiful thing. Hope y'all got something out of the presentation today.